What's up, Pokey Sluts? My name is Another Soviet. Today I have a few Ubers matches for you guys, and this first one is going to be a really quick match, just because I want to show you guys kind of what I was dealing with last night. I was having all sorts of issues with people forfeiting out on me early, so hope you're not too upset by this first match, but the other two go all the way to the end, or at least close enough to the end to post them. They're long enough matches, you can tell by the length of this video, I'm sure. But anyways, please leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these battles, comment down below if you have any feedback, and subscribe to stay up to date with all my latest Pokemon content. Now I decided to lead off with my Spiked Kush Shiny Ferrothorn here. Want to get Stealth Rocks up, and in the Uber's ladder, Ferrothorn is generally a really safe start. There isn't a whole lot of scary fire types to deal with, and there is a lot of physical Uber's Mons, and basically my general plan just generally is to pretty much sack off my Ferrothorn to begin with, because he's not that useful in Ubers. I mean, he is, but he's pretty limited, I guess. So I'm just going to switch out into my Foghorn Leghorn here, my shiny Ho-Oh, and get some health back with the Leech Seed. And I'm just going to go ahead and Sacred Fire on him. And this Dialga is actually turning out to be a special wall. As you can see, that did jack shit to him. I mean, the rain is up, so it does a little less, but still, that did absolutely nothing. So I'm just kind of expecting him to switch out here. So I think I may just want to go for an Iron Head or an Aerial Ace, but I'm just going to click Iron Head, and he ends up going out into Kyogre, so I predicted correctly. There's not much that an Iron Head is going to do to this Kyogre, or Kyogre, whatever you want to call him. And there's not much that pretty much anyone on my team is going to do to this thing. I mean, my Deoxys Speed does have T-Bolt, but that doesn't do a whole lot. And he brought in his Kyogre and made a mistake. He brought him in on Rain, so he wasn't able to get up Rain, and he just forfeits there. So, sorry about that quick match, but I'll take you over to the next one now. What's up, bogies luds? Welcome to the second match here in this Ubers video for you guys. I was thinking about leading with my Ferrothorn here, but I figured he'd go into Ho-Oh. But like I said before, my Ferrothorn isn't that much useful, so I decided to bring him out anyway. And if he did go into Ho-Oh, my Greninja can switch into him pretty well, and then he will be a huge threat to his team, besides the Darkrai pretty much. And I'm just going to go ahead and try and get a Scald off. The Ho-Oh would probably live it, but it's not that big a deal if he doesn't, so I'm just going to go for a Scald. It will do a little bit extra damage since it is in the rain, since he switched in his Kyogre here. And I would go for a Grass Knot, but my Ferrothorn can switch in pretty well, and I'd like to get Rocks up. He ends up getting a Crate and a Burn Off. Of course, you guys know my luck when it comes to this game. I'm going to just go ahead and Leech Seed, and he ends up bringing out Ho-Oh, which is very predictable. But I'm glad I got the Leech Seed off anyway, because this Ho-Oh could get quite annoying. I'm just going to go ahead and Protect and try and sap some more health off of him. And suck it up with Leech Seed. So this Ho-Oh, if he decides to stay in, is going to be giving me some health for free. Unless he somehow has Brick Break or something in it. He ends up switching out, which is, very unfortunate for us. But it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like I've said, this Ferrothorn isn't that useful. I can definitely deal without him. So I'm just going to sack him off. I was going to try and get Leech Seed up there, but as you can see, that didn't work out, and my Blaziken definitely switches in very well. I would like to protect, but I know he's going to switch out, expecting the protect because people always go for the protect. So I'm going to outpredict him, and I end up going for the low kick. And he ends up switching in his Ho-Oh here, which I kind of predicted. So I'm just going to go for a nice protect, and he does have Brave Bird, so that's a little bit scary, but my speed goes up every round I stay in. Obviously, it is the Mega Blaziken, so I'm just going to go for a knockoff, and I get a crit right there, bitch. And Ho-Oh is sent to the pit of Hades. And now I'm at +3 speed or whatever, and I can hit this thing up with a Flare Blitz and hit him hard. It probably will not OHKO, but that's okay. We don't need to OHKO this thing too bad. And I'm just going to hit it up with a low kick. No, I'm just going to go for another Flare Blitz here. He ends up going into Kyogre, so it turns out well for us. Anyway, but what I mean by well is the fact that we didn't have to lose any health to Flare Blitz recoil. Sorry about that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and sack off It's Cold Out here, my Greninja. It isn't too terribly strong against this team, and my Deoxys comes in pretty well on this thing. I can go for a nice T-Bolt, but I would like to get a Calm Mind off and see how well I can deal with this Kyogre. He ends up getting a burn off again, which is very unfortunate, but I am running the Lumberry, so it's not too huge of a deal. And I'm just going to end up going down to the Scald there, and my Giratina comes in pretty safe, I'd say, and I can go for a nice Shadow Force. He ends up going into the rest mode, of course, which does suck. This Kyogre is very bulky, as well as any Kyogre, obviously. So it is going to be a bit of a bitch to deal with, but my Prince of Darkness, my Giratina here, is going to have to take it out, because if he doesn't, then I'm pretty much screwed for dealing with it. He ends up roaring me out into my Flamecock Blaziken, though. My Blaziken Mega, so I'm just going to hit him up with a knockoff, I guess, because I don't want the low kick to miss, and he ends up waking up there, and he goes for a Sleep Talk, so that doesn't turn out too bad for us. The knockoff did 31, so I guess a stab low kick should take him out, so I'm going to have to risk the 90% accuracy there, and we end up taking him down, bitch. And we're at +3 speed, is it? I don't know. I don't really get the whole plus thing and the 2 times thing and whatever. As you can see, I am not that great at figuring that shit out. But I'm just going to bring in my Giratina here and hope he doesn't go for a Dragon Claw or anything like that. So I'm just going to go for a Dragon Claw of my own and hope I can live something he throws at me. And he ends up going for the Double Edge, which definitely leads me to believe that he is... he doesn't have a Dragon move. And I'm just going to sack off my Foghorn Leghorn here to take this Salamence out, because I definitely want to keep my Giratina around for the Dialga, and this Klefki will the Klefki and the Darkrai should definitely go down to my Flamecock here. So I'm just gonna Flare Blitz him. He's gonna set up another Reflect, which is not a big deal at all. I don't have any hazards to try and set up anyway. But does Reflect bounce Stealth Rocks back? I can't remember. But it does raise the team's defense, which honestly doesn't matter too much. With Flamecock, his attack is super high. He does have the Dark Void, which puts Pokemon to sleep instantly, but since I stayed in and protected, I will be faster, and I end up getting put to sleep there because I have to just go for a low kick, and it doesn't end up taking him out. So now I just want to stay in and go for a low kick because this thing isn't really gonna do anything to me as far as I know, and I just gotta hope I can wake up, and I end up waking up and take out his Dark Eye there. So that was very lucky, and now all that's left is his bulky ass Dialga, which is a bitch to deal with. I'm just gonna end up going for the low kick, and it takes him down to 31. Holy shit. So I guess Dialga is usually specially defensive, but that's gonna be the match. I end up losing due to Dialga being faster, obviously, which does suck, but I'm gonna take you guys on over to the next match now. Hope you enjoyed this one. What's up, Pokey Sluts, and welcome to the third and final battle in my Ubers video here for you guys. I'm not quite sure how popular my Ubers videos are gonna be, but if you guys enjoy this and you want to see more Ubers, comment down below and let me know, and subscribe and thumbs up to just let me know that you guys like this video. Now I am thinking about leading with my two fast as shit Pokemon, but once again I'm just gonna lead off with the Spiked Kush because he's always the most expendable character on my team, and he's always a nice lead to try and set up Stealth Rocks that will hurt this Lugia pretty decently should he try to switch out. And he actually ends up setting up a Calm Mind, so that could be a little bit of an issue, but I will just try and go for getting Leech Seed up here, and he goes for a Toxic, I guess expecting me to switch out. But sorry buddy, this Spiked Kush, I'm not going to oblige you with that. I definitely wanted to keep him in there. I can switch in my Giratina. I'm not sure if I want to, though. But I know he's probably going to try and hit me with an Aeroblast. So I guess I'd like to just try and go for a Gyro Ball here. And he ends up getting a crit on the Aeroblast, of course. Once again, you guys know my splendid luck. I was thinking about making a clip video yesterday, or last night, of all the bullshit I went through with how bad crits and this game pretty much hates me, and hacks and all that, all the issues I've had to deal with that. And he misses Aeroblast there, yeah bitch! He does have Roost, so he's going to be a bit of an issue. So I'm definitely going to have to bring in Giratina on this Roost that I had predicted. Obviously, I didn't know he was going to do that, and now I can get a Toxic or a nice Shadow Force off if I'd like to. Possibly a Dragon Claw, but I'm just going to Shadow Force. And unfortunately, he ends up bringing in the Arceus, so it's not going to do anything to the Arceus. It is Arceus normal, so it's not a huge deal anyway, because this thing isn't too big of a threat to my team, or at least I don't think it is. But I'd just like to get a nice Toxic off on it, and he ends up going into Xerneas, so that turns out pretty well, or Xerneas, I believe is how you pronounce it. So that turns out pretty decently for us, and my Spiked Kush here can come in pretty nicely. It does have the Gyro Ball, so it will be able to hit this semi-decently, and this thing can do absolutely jack shit to it. I'm just going to go set up Leech Seeds as always, and he actually ends up having Hidden Power Fire must be, because it hit for super effective. So it must be HP Fire. So knowing that, I think I want to go into my Foghorn Leghorn. It does have Iron Head, and it is specially defensive, but I think I just want to sack off my Spiked Kush here first and get some more toxic damage off on this thing, so that I know for sure an Iron Head will kill this. But I'd also like to bring in my Greninja, because he can do a pretty good number on his team here, and a nice Scald should take this thing out, and if not, it'll go down to Toxic, and he ends up going down there to the Scald, bitch! And Xerneas is sent to the pit of Hades. And he's going to end up bringing in his Lugia. Why? I am not too sure. This thing will definitely go down to a... Oh, I spoke way too soon. He actually did go down to a Dark Pulse, but he ends up getting flinched there. So this will be the death of him. I can't imagine what he thought he was going to do to me anyway. But I'm just going to go for another Dark Pulse here on this Kyogre, and now at 62, a Grass Knot should hit it very well. So I'm just going to stay in and go for that. Why not? And we take out the Kyogre, the Primal Kyogre there. I see a lot of people running Primal Kyogre. I'm not quite sure why. He isn't that great. I mean, if you need a wall, I guess he's decent, but there's definitely better walls than Ubers, and Primal Groudon is definitely much better. But he ends up bringing in the Darkrai, so I definitely wouldn't like him to set up for free, but I do want my Greninja to stick around, so I'm just going to bring in my Foghorn Leghorn, my Mr. Ho-Oh, yeah, and he ends up going for the Dark Void, so he is going to be annoying as shit. This is Special Wall Ho-Oh, as I said, so I will be able to stay in and stay asleep for a couple of turns and survive whatever he may have for me. Anyhow, of course, he ends up getting a crit. As I've said many times in this, you guys see the level of bullshit I have to deal with, but we end up waking up there nicely, and I get a Sacred Fire and the burn from that, so hacks give me a little bit of a help there, but of course they never help me when I need it. And this Ho-Oh does have Regenerator, so I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna sack it off. Just because I want to get more burn damage off on this thing, and now my Blaziken can come in, and I can get a nice low kick off if I wanted to, but I'd just like to protect first, because this thing is gonna be faster than me on the first turn, obviously, but at +1 speed, I do not believe he will be faster, and I can hit him with a nice hard low kick, and hope I don't miss. It is 90% accurate. Oh wait, sorry, it's 100% accurate. I don't know why I was thinking it wasn't. It's high jump kick that I'm thinking of that misses. So yeah, he's going to end up bringing out his Giratina now. Giratina Origin. I can knock off this thing and hit it pretty decently. And he is going to be the physical wall, maybe? But I'm just going to go for a Protect, because I'm pretty sure I can live a Shadow Force. And I do. So that's very nice. Obviously, the Protect does not block that. So just so you guys know, a Protect will not block a Shadow Force. And he ends up setting up for another Shadow Force as I get good knockoff damage on this thing. But my Blaziken is pretty much dead at this point, and I don't want to really switch in my Giratina to try and take one of those. So I'm just going to sack off my Flamecock here and get rid of my Mega Blaziken. It is a bit of an annoyance because he is the normal Arceus, so now my Greninja comes in and gets a Dark Pulse off for free, and it will damage most of his team and definitely take this freaking thing out, and it would have been a bit of an issue, but now he's going to bring in his Arceus, so I don't know how I want to deal with this thing. He's probably going to end up taking me out, but I'd just like to try and get some damage off before he does that. And he does have the Judgment and the lefties, so he's going to be a bit of an annoyance. But my Giratina should be able to come in pretty well. This is physically defensive Giratina, but I'm just going to try and get a nice Toxic off, because I know he's just going to recover his health back. And of course, as you guys can see, once again, hacks hate my freaking guts. And he ends up sacking Lugia there. He doesn't want to catch a Toxic on his Arceus just yet, but he's not really going to be able to avoid it anyway. if that's what I want to do. I think I do want to get a toxic off on that son of a bitch. And he ends up right here taking forever to switch back into his Arceus. And actually, he ends up never even coming back, so he does end up forfeiting there, and I'll just cut to that in the video. But please leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this. Comment down below if you have any feedback. Let me know if you'd like to see more Ubers matches. I'm not quite sure how popular they are. I posted a quick one a couple days ago. And subscribe to stay up to date with all my latest Pokemon videos. Follow me on Twitch. My name is Another Soviet. Peace out, guys, and thank you for watching.